Welcome to part 3 of Solway Lass's 2024 Haulout. We've inspected the original sections of hull around the keel and it's in surprisingly good condition. To put some perspective on that, the shipyard said that the average vessel will last 15 to 40 years and then their hulls are basically ruined. This hull is 122 and it's still going strong. The yard noted that almost all the deterioration they found is coming from inside the vessel. This means that the anodes and protective measures on the outside of the hull are working really well. It's just the bilges that need attention. It looks like the boys have pulled the rudder out, so she's just chained up there and hanging. Solway's rudder and steering mechanism have to be pulled apart and checked just to make sure they're all working properly, but they're in very good condition, and that's pretty impressive considering the age of Solway's steering mechanism. It is approximately 132 years old. It's not Solway's original steering mechanism, but it is identical. She has a worm drive steering mechanism, and it was donated by a museum located in the shipyard where she was originally built. Jim, what's this?
It's a shaft.
What kind of shaft? Is that your shaft?
It's the rudder shaft.
Right, it's the rudder shaft. Right. That's a shaft and a half, isn't it? We've got Alan the welder coming to join our little slip team. I've seen his work on Summer Joe. Absolutely beautiful, so I'm keen to see his welding work on Solway Lass. We need to particularly clean up the deck, the anchor winch, and the rails. So for him to get to the rails, we have to pull off all the rigging. This is a bit of a tricky exercise. The rigging is highly complicated. It has to be secured properly, and if I make any mistakes, things are going to fall down onto the deck. I'm particularly concerned about the rigging that holds up the gaff's upper boom. That's a very large spar that I don't want falling down. So I'm going to use all three of us to secure that rigging. Alright, Filippo, work your magic.
Wait. So we need to organize this one.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're coming off here and we're going to tie it onto here.
Yeah. Get it?
Nice. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yeah, and this one, now, we put here on the sanda.
The pin rails, cap rails and handrails are bolted onto the stanchions and the bulwarks. We've got to get the bolts off. The wood's pretty old and this is tricky to do, trying to get the nuts off without actually causing the wood to split and the bolts to rotate. Some of the parts have seized and we have no choice but to chop them off.
Need a shackle. Oh, that's something hot. I need a shackle.
These are all the rails off the port bow. Stanchions. The railing. It's actually in pretty good condition under there. When you looked in from the side, you'd see all the rust and think, oh, it's buggered, but once you actually get in there, it's okay. There's a few rusted out holes we're going to have to weld back up, which is causing the stanchions to get wobbly in certain spots. In surprisingly good condition.
I'll cut the top, cut the bottom to get that radius. I'll use a grinding wheel to get that radius. Then put a bit of stainless around it, then weld her up. Look like brand new.
Beautiful.
Alright? Yeah. That's going to be better than a hole saw. It'll be a lot quicker. A lot quicker. So, about another hour and a half, 2 hours, I'll be onto these.
I need to supply Alan some support in his welding, and strangely enough, even though I'm the foreman, I'm actually the least capable person on the tools. So I assigned him Odin, who is a young lad, but he grew up on a farm and he has a natural intuition when it comes to tools and mechanical things. Odin and Alan are quite different characters. I think they struggled a bit for the first day or two to get along with each other, but when I saw Alan giving Odin tips, I knew that Odin had started winning Alan's respect and this union was gonna work out. The stanchions, bulwarks and pinrail plates are about 40 years old and some of them are getting rusty, and Alan's cutting them out and then smashing in stainless steel replacements that'll probably last 60 to 80 years. Anyway, who needs fresh air when we can spend some quality time in Solway's paradise, her beautiful engine room. Next. So we're just doing some mystery solving down in the engine room. We've got a map of all the pipes and overboards, and slowly working out what's going on. A lot of the old labels have fallen off, so we've got to trace all the pipes, work out what absolutely everything does, and make sure it's all working properly. So it's kind of like playing Tetris. So Odin and I have mapped out a lot of the plumbing in the engine system. I've started the process of creating a 3D map of the engine room and its systems, so we can use it for the safety management system, for troubleshooting, and for all the documentation that the boat needs. The nightmare nut. It's bent, isn't it? The hole's bent. This is the saltwater intake for the main generator's cooling system. Nice. Filippo's brave. He's having a crack at the Blackwater overboard.
Do you reckon to put this one above?
Filippo's doing a great job of building a mounting bracket for the saltwater pump and the freshwater pump. Yeah. Filippo! Chuck me the nut. I'll get the right size. Thanks.
Hey! Look up there, mate! Look!
Oh, yeah, happiness. That's a good sign. Odin and I have removed an old pumping unit and converted its mounting station into a usable workbench.